Hey! As some of you may know, Otakon happened last week, and I'm just here to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly from this convention, my personal experience. If you want to just watch the positives and negatives, it will be in the second half of the video, so you can just kind of skip along over there if that's what you want to listen to. Just a little disclaimer, Otakon was my very first convention back in 2009, so it holds a very, very special place in my heart. And because of that, I may not go as hard on Otakon as I've gone on other conventions in the past, or as I will go on conventions in the future, just because it's very, very special to me, and I can't be too mean to Otakon. That being said, let's begin. This year's Otakon was a little different than previous Otakons because I was coming from Virginia from my vacation, as opposed to coming from New York, where I usually come from. So right there, it was just different change of pace. But it was cool because the Gaylord Hotel, where Katsucon and MagFest are held, is right along Route I-95, so I actually just stopped over there, took a couple pictures in my nominee costume, and peaced out. It was awesome because the venue was completely empty, which you never ever see during a convention, so I got to get some gorgeous, gorgeous pictures there, which was really cool. After that, got stuck in a bunch of hours of traffic. I did not get to the convention until like 6 o'clock. And then unpacked everything, had to pick up my brother at like 7. So I didn't get to the badge line until about 8 o'clock, which was my first mistake. We waited in line for about 2 hours. 10:30 they finally told us that we had to go home, and I still had a costume to work on, so I was up until really, really late. No, Sean was up till 6 o'clock. I passed out a little before that, working on my Sarah costume because I had too many things that I needed to complete, so thank you, Sean, very much. Friday in the morning I got into Sarah. It took me longer than I expected and got to the convention center at about 2 o'clock. I shot with King's Cosplay, which was awesome because he was such a nice guy. He took some beautiful pictures of my Sarah costume and of Sean's snow costume. He just got some lovely, lovely shots. I actually ran into a Vanille cosplayer. She was with a different cosplayer from the same series. And I was like, oh my god, we're all from Final Fantasy, we should totally take a selfie. So her friend was getting a camera because we had camera complications, and in that time I found a Lightning and a Hope from Final Fantasy 2 as well. And I was like, oh my god, we're taking a selfie, you should totally get in it. So we had like a group of 6 Final Fantasy cosplayers, which was just awesome and unexpected. It was like the miracle of Otakon. I didn't walk around the convention as her for that long because my shoes were kind of hurting, which I'm really, really upset about because I really enjoyed cosplaying as her, but it just gives me an excuse to cosplay as her again. After that, I switched into Angel Panty in a car, which was really, really hard to do without flashing somebody. I'm very proud of myself for not doing so, even though it would have been very in character for Penny to do that. I got to shoot with KG Photography, who is just an awesome guy. It was really cool. My friend Jenny got to be stalking, and we got to be just the Sisters Anarchy. We just ran around and acted like assholes and like had a great time. I can't wait to wear that costume again. And this time hopefully with my friend Garcia, who was supposed to be our briefers, and he didn't show up because he was eating, so I guess it just gives me motivation to wear the costume again. I'm really excited to wear that one because it was just such a blast. I had to go to sleep because I had to get up just because I had to do some stuff for Beast Boy, a couple things for Starfire that just needed to be done. So I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh, I've done Starfire a million times, this isn't gonna be hard, right? Wrong. I forgot my top armor piece, the one that goes, you know, right there. I forgot that at home. So I was freaking the fuck out, as you can imagine, because this is every cosplayer's nightmare. I made a checklist of everything. I labeled all of my bags, and somehow I managed to forget this vital piece. Fortunately, my friend Jenny is amazing, and she painted a little green gem for me. I managed to make the armor, and everything turned out okay, but I got set back and didn't get to the con center till like 3, which really sucked. We were supposed to meet our Teen Titans group, but they said Cyborg wasn't ready, so we had to wait a little bit longer, which was okay because I really wasn't in the mood to take pictures. I just wanted to eat something. So walked around Teen Titans, which was a lot of fun. Just me, Sean, and Kieran as Starfire, Speedy, and Beast Boy. We met a Robin with the spiky hair, and she was awesome. We met a Raven. We met some other Teen Titans cosplayers, but our time in the dealer's room was very short because Cyborg was falling apart and they needed our help. Unfortunately, we didn't get there till like 5:45, and we had our huge Titans shoot at 6. So unfortunately, we had to scrap Cyborg, which was heartbreaking for a lot of us because we've been planning this whole thing since February. But I'm really, really amazed with everybody's costumes who came. I just want to give a special shout out to Jess of Torin Cosplays. That girl is incredible. She made Lightning, she made Aqualad, she made Kid Flash, and she had her own cosplays to make, and she managed to just make everything come together. And I just wanted to say, Jess and Jenny as well, just put in so much work. Alex, you guys seriously made my dreams come true. I just want you to know that. And everybody who showed up, thank you so much for everything. You guys did a beautiful job. You are all your characters, and I'm so impressed by the amount of work you all put in and the sacrifices you had to make. Seriously, just so much love to you guys. So we shot with the awesome SF Design, who took my pictures of Starfire last year, so I knew there was no better man for the job to take these pictures. And we had such a fun time. Everyone got the pictures they wanted, and when we were done with the shoot, we walked into the convention center all as a team, which was just amazing because there were 20 of us. We had Titan's Tower, we had Madame Rouge, we had like everybody. It was great. I was just really upset that I didn't get to spend a lot of time in the convention center again because of photo shoots and everything like that, but still had such a blast in Starfire. Sean met a Green Arrow, which was cool. I finally met my Blackfire, who I've been waiting to meet forever. We got to just rip each other's hair out and have a blast doing that. I loved every minute of being Starfire. After we got back to the hotel room, we just cleaned some of stuff up because our room was a disaster. I made sure I had everything for my secret cosplay the next day, and then I just kind of put on the Lucy wig that I bought and wore a blue dress and just ran around and ate ice cream and took pictures, and I had a really fun rest of my night. Sunday was probably the best day of the convention, as I mentioned in my very terrible vlog. I was Trash Ketchum or Ass Ketchup, whatever. I don't know. I call myself both of those things because my costume was ridiculous. It was really cool because Alex and Connor dressed up as Team Rocket, and my friend AJ was Red from Pokemon, so we had a whole Pokemon themed group, and Sean was my male Misty, and we were just really slutty. It was awesome. So we got some really cool pictures of Ash. I really am probably the most excited to see those pictures because they were so much fun to do. I also got to shoot with my really good friend Daniel Lynn, again, who I shot with at Kineticon and Anime Next in the past. Afterwards, we got group shots with the whole Team Rocket, and we shot with Garcia, and it was really fun. And then we just kind of peaced out. Said bye to Otakon, which sucked. I'm just gonna get into the positives and negatives of Otakon. So people this year were definitely more considerate than they were last year. It was overall just a better group of people at Otakon. Everyone was just way nicer than last year, which is good because I was definitely really upset by the way people acted last year, and I'm glad that Otakon is getting back on track with the amount of nice people. I also like just the fact that because this convention is so big, there is a large amount of talented cosplayers all throughout the entire convention. Just so much talent in one room, and you'll see just everything under the sun. Just the amount of work that some people put into these costumes is absolutely amazing. Just going to Otakon is just such an inspirational experience for that reason alone. The one thing I really like about Otakon is, in addition to having an amazing dealer's room with everything in it, it also has a very extensive artist alley. Unlike Kineticon, where the artist alley is connected to the dealer's room, it's just a very small entity. Otakon is huge. I just love that artists that I followed from DeviantArt in like 2005 are still there year after year, that some of them even got moved into the dealer's room, like Moogle Girl, who's now Tasty Peach Studios, and Celise. I just followed their work forever. It's amazing to see how far their artistic careers have brought them. Really cool going to the artist alley because I got one of these. I want to cosplay Kyrie at some point, and now I have inspiration to do so, and I'm just so excited. I have no idea when this is gonna happen, but future. Another thing about Otakon this year is that even though it's a huge convention, they definitely manage their crowds better than before. The use of a divider line has definitely improved things in the skywalks. Last year was such a clusterfuck that having a little bit of organization really went a long way. Not to say that Otakon still doesn't have a long way to go. They definitely do. They definitely need to work on so many things, but it's definitely a good start right here. So the strictness on props was also much less strict this year. For example, last year they did not allow a single strung bow into the convention center, which I thought was complete bullshit, because if they didn't have arrows, what was the problem? My friends went as Link and Navi last year, and my friend had one of those cheap little dollar store suction cup bows, and they would not let her in the convention center with it because it was a strung bow and it was dangerous because so many people get hurt from a tiny little bow. It was just really stupid. I mean, obviously a functional bow, I understand why someone would need to check that in if they had arrows because they didn't want people getting hurt. But I mean, people could get hurt with a wooden sword too, so I don't know. It was also really cool because even though Otakon is such a big convention, I still managed to find my friends in a pretty easy fashion. I would just run into them sometimes, which was really cool. I ran into my friend Lauren like 50 times at this convention. I just love that even though it was such a big convention, you could still manage your way around, and that's just awesome. Last but certainly not least, my very favorite person in the world was at this convention this year. I saw him last year. I was really hoping he would make a reprise this year, and he did. If I don't know how many people have gone to Otakon before, but there is this man who runs around without a shirt, and he has a megaphone, and he sings this song. It's like, ice cold water, and it's only $1. And it's just, I don't know why. It's really annoying, but it's really, really funny, and I love it. And I'm so happy that he was back this year. I was really just, he answered my prayers. It was awesome. Also, in addition, had these little storm drain things that said Otakon on them, and then it said something like home of the ice cold water underneath. I just love that Otakon has accepted him as part of their convention. Just awesome. I don't know what they're going to do when they move to DC. Hoping they don't do that. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to get into the negatives at this point because there definitely were some that cannot be overlooked. As many of you may know, this convention was known as LineCon this year. This is because it had worse lines than Disney World, and there was no fast pass to get to the front. It was awful. As I mentioned before, I was on the line from 8 o'clock until 10:30 the night before the convention even began, and I didn't get a badge. I just feel like if the convention staff knew that the line was piling up this much, that they should have just cut the line at 7 o'clock and just said, everybody else, here's a fast pass to the front tomorrow. Just, I'm sorry, I can't let you get on this line, so that they could have guaranteed all the people who were on the line badges. And then the people who came in at 8 o'clock didn't have to wait, and then they may not have stayed up till 6 o'clock in the morning working on their costumes. So Otakon, take some suggestions, cut your line a little bit earlier, because a lot of people wasted time that they really didn't want to be wasting sitting on a hotline. In addition, I have one more complaint about the staff, in just the sense that they were unnecessarily rude to the con members, and that just really pissed me off because they would yell at us for literally no reason. For example, if me and my friend were asked to take a picture, we would move kind of out of the way of people. I mean, there's no true way to move out of the way of all people, but we would try our best to kind of get out of the way, and they'd be like, no, you can't take pictures there, like, you gotta go somewhere else. And this happened to us like 5 times, and we weren't in the way. It was literally just like one picture and then go about your merry way. They were just making such a big deal out of nothing, and I just don't really understand why. This is just a personal issue. But it is a heads up to anybody who is planning on getting a hotel that's not right in the convention center area. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Book your hotel right now and get it out of the way, because if you are not there, it's so difficult to get back and forth. It's so easy to get turned around on your GPS, and it's just honestly a pain in the ass. Like, I would definitely not recommend staying as far away as we did this year. In addition, we had to pay for parking, which of course in a big city it's to be expected that parking would be expensive, and we couldn't go back and forth to the hotel, so if we forgot something, we were fucked. In addition, I underestimated how long it would take to get into multiple costumes throughout the day, and it's definitely really, really difficult to do so. I've seen a lot of cosplayers who do it, so I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but doing it and not having a hotel room to do so, it's just really unpleasant, and I wouldn't recommend it. Just another issue is the fact that there are a bunch of elevators in this convention center, but somehow half of them, if not more, are turned off at all times, which is a bitch, because I was wearing high heels this entire weekend, and the last thing I wanted to do was walk. So I'd be like, oh, escalators, be getting all excited that I could take a break for a second before having to walk around again, and the escalators would be turned off. I don't know why they do this. They do it every single year, and it drives me absolutely nuts. They know they're gonna have large crowds of people. I don't understand why they turn off half the escalators, but they do. It's just a really irritating issue about Otakon. Finally, this is just a stupid one, but every year, as far as I've been going to Otakon, some idiot has dumped a shit ton of soap in the fountains, which is just so much fun because you could play with it and you could throw it at your friends and just have so much fun, and nobody did it this year, and it actually is really upsetting. It's just like Otakon is changing, and I don't like it because that was a tradition that always happened, and I don't know. I'm really bummed out about that. But that's all I have for positives and negatives. As I said, I probably didn't go as hard on Otakon as I could have gone, but I really had a good time despite all of the bad things that happened. I just wish I could have spent more time there. I feel like I barely got my feet wet in that convention, and that just kills me because it's such a fun place. But hopefully I can make up for lost time at New York Comic Con. Maybe if there's a convention close by, I'll hit that one up, but I'm guessing I'm probably not going to be at a con till New York Comic Con. So if you're there, definitely come say hi. We'll be Young Justice for one of the days. I'm not sure which one. I'll probably be Starfire or something for the other day. Definitely stop by. I'll be Zatanna, and it'll be a blast. We could take selfies and be best friends. So thank you for watching. I will have another video up to you soon. Don't know what it's going to be yet, but stay tuned, and I love you, and bye.